Yes, indeed. B Boxing back at it with another live stream. You see the title, man. Bob Arum says that Mikey Garcia don't want no parts of the man Vasil Lomachenko, while Mikey Garcia's brother and trainer, Robert Garcia, says otherwise. He says it's actually vice versa. Lomachenko and them don't want no parts of Mikey, you know what I mean? So let's get into it, man. This is an interesting fight right here, and this is the fight I actually would like to see. I watched Mikey Garcia unify the lightweight titles this last weekend versus Robert Easter. Excellent display of boxing skills, you know what I mean? He did his thing in there. And he won the fight decisively, clearly, no non-controversial about that fight, you know what I mean? The man handled his business. That check left hook was percolating. And, he was just a better man on the night, you know what I mean? Mike D, the so-called blacks in the chat, was good, son. He says, what's good, B Marsh, what's happening? Mike D says, nah, Loma wants that smoke. He ain't scared of nobody. Mr. Doc, what's goody, son? How you feeling, Mr. Doc? Yeah, man. I see Mr. Doc, you trying to upload some old boxing fights, some Frazier and George Foreman. You know what we need to do, Mr. Doc? Once we find a third candidate, we should try to score them fights on your channel. You know what I mean? Same way we used to do on Andrew Senior's thing. You check it, then you send me the copy the way you usually did. Just send me the copy through my email. You know what I'm saying? If we could do that, cause I have no clue how to jump on the hangout thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, Mr. Doc. You on the same page, man. Once you can do that, if you get to know how to send the invites and stuff like that, we're gonna get somebody, man. We're gonna do a fight, man. We're gonna have 3 judges panel, you know what I mean? I always like doing that, you know what I'm saying? So just we'll find out. Well, I'll talk to you on the ones and we'll see what's good. So let me get back on this Lomachenko and what's his name? Mikey Garcia thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Mikey just unified the titles, right? So if you know Bob Arum's pedigree, basically how he moves, he's not in the business of putting guys he used to promote and went through he went through a kind of battle with these guys for these guys trying to get out the contract with Top Rank. He ain't in the business of trying to have his current fighters fight those old fighters that used to be on Top Rank. Look how long it took for Manny Pacquiao and Floyd to be made. You know what I mean? Even fellas like De La Hoya and Floyd. Both guys who had left Top Rank, they went and did their own thing. You know what I'm saying? And they both got paid without Bob Bam being in the mix. But Bob Bam has some interesting things to say, man. I'm gonna read you these quotes from this article, and I'll probably leave the link in the description box. This is what he thought about Mikey Garcia. Okay. Um, he says Garcia doesn't like quote. Garcia doesn't like to take chances. That's the way he always was. Excellent talent. He has that. And then now Bob Bam talking about Spence. He says Spence will beat him. And Garcia can say, I got beat up by a guy 2 weight classes bigger. He's desperately afraid of fighting Mikey at the same weight. Loma makes him look like an idiot. If Mikey fights Loma in the style he fought Easter, he will get destroyed. End quote. Now, I'll have to agree with Bob Arum on one part of that comment he made, you know what I'm saying, of his quotes. I do agree that fighting Errol Spence versus Mikey, that's not quite the fight I want to see. Some people give guys credit and give them bravery badges for stepping up 2 weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Like Kell Brook, that was a bad move going up there to fight Triple G. In hindsight, even for the man Vasil Lomachenko, that was a bad. I'm sorry, Guillermo Riggin. That it's a bad move going up there to fight the man Lomachenko 2 weight classes above. So I do agree with Bob Arum with that standpoint, basically saying, if Mikey does lose to the man Errol Spence, it's like he's not in a lose situation. You know what I mean? He'll just say, I just got beat by a guy who's bigger than me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna read you some more quotes from the man Bob Arum, and this is basically about how he went through litigation with the man Mikey Garcia and whether things ended on a high note. Did they end on a perspective where they can't do business again? And these are the quotes from Bob Arum. He says, "I don't believe that, as far as their relationship being tainted. We have a very good relationship with his brother Robert. He doesn't want to fight Loma because Loma beats him. If Mikey indicated he wants to fight Loma, assuming Loma wins in December, then Loma would want to fight him. We could sit over a weekend. We could sit over a weekend and hash out a deal. Mikey has commitment, contractual or morally, to Showtime. Loma has a commitment to ESPN. But I know what the roadmap is to me making a fight like that. It's not rocket science. If we could do Floyd versus Manny, we could do this fight." End quote. Well, Bob Arum seems like he's very confident, you know what I mean? And that's why I said, hey, I watched some videos. When was it? I think the day of Garcia and Easter. And Robert Garcia was basically saying that he's talked with a lot of staff members of Top Rank. I don't know if it was Todd DeBuff in particular, but staff members over there in Top Rank, and they said Bob Arum don't want to make the fight. They say, man, that fight's not going to happen, man, because Bob Arum and them know that Mikey going to tax that ass and beat and Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? So this is the part of the news where these promoters, just like Eddie Hearn, they be trying to spin the narrative. You know what I mean? You know, Mikey Garcia been wanted that fight with Lomachenko from last year. You check it. There was even pictures of them when I think Mikey Garcia was doing. I'm sorry, Loma was doing a little photo shoot or something, and Mikey came through. You know what I'm saying? And Mikey Garcia was all squeezing. I'm sorry, Vasily Lomachenko was squeezing Mikey's biceps, talking about, "Oh, you're big." You know what I'm saying? You check it. So this is not nothing new. You know what I mean? But this is the first time I'm hearing Bob Arum be, talk about it in this manner. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I believe more Robert Garcia, you know what I'm saying? I believe Robert Garcia is saying that he got information from people on the Top Rank side that they don't want no parts of Mikey, you know what I mean? I'm not going to believe Bob Arum. Bob Arum's the same kind of guy who says, yesterday I lied, today I'm telling the truth. He's a habitual liar. He was the same guy who was talking about he wants to build a stadium for Manny Pacquiao versus Pacquiao. That's why the fight's been delayed, you know what I mean? So I'm not buying that. Let me see what fellas saying in the chat. Mike D says, I was wrong about Easter though. He should have smothered and stayed on the inside with Mikey like that, range to get right. In my opinion, Mike D, he didn't fight a bad fight. Robert Easter, he fought well behind the jab. The man just got exhausted pumping that jab out, you know what I mean? And he wasn't, he actually kind of fought scared because he wasn't letting that right hand go, you know what I'm saying? The balance, and it was just a matter of skill sets. The other guy, Mikey Garcia, is a very accurate puncher. Every single 1-2 he was throwing was splitting the guard with the jab, and he would go round the high guard with the left hook or right hook or straight right. You know what I'm saying? His punch accuracy, and that's what Bob Arum is saying, basically, how Mikey likes to, basically, he's like a guy who doesn't like to have a high punch output, and, he's a kind of guy. Let me read exactly what he was saying. I just read it one time. Hold on. When Bob Arum was saying, Garcia doesn't like to take chances, and basically he's trying to say that he's economical with his output. Well, that's a given. If you know Mikey, that's what it is. How he fights. You know what I mean? It's like almost like a Hispanic version of Floyd Mayweather. Fellas ain't letting their hands go unless they're gonna put that on the target and score points. You know what I'm saying? So the man, I think Robert Easter fought a good fight. He just needed a higher punch output, needed to drop his accuracy, and that is just evident from the fight. His accuracy is not on Mikey's level. If he was confident in his accuracy, he would have plastered him with that right hand from range. You know what I mean? Okay. See what they're saying in the chat. All right. Mike 104 was good, Mike. He says, Arum not going to put Mikey on that expense on his top ranked poster child. Facts, exactly. And that's the reason I made this video, because that's not Bob Arum's MO. That ain't his modus operandi. He's not going to put a guy like Mikey in there with Lomachenko, who could upset and just fuck up everything for Lomachenko, his star pupil over there. You know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, yeah, good point. Bob ain't trying to do Mikey any favors. Exactly. You know what I mean? Mike D, the so-called black, says Loma gonna win though, and I pick my Mike Garcia to win that fight. I'm not saying you're wrong with your assessment, but I got Mikey winning that fight. The man got almost 40. He's 39-0. You know what I'm saying? There comes a point in time with the professional ranks, 40 going over 49 or damn 39-0 with 30 KOs is very different. And I don't give a fuck how great Lomachenko's skill set is. It's different from an 11-1 record. You know what I mean? Hey man, you don't believe me? Just go back and look at my prediction for that fight we had between Wasim Muhammad, the Pakistani amateur with an extensive amateur background, who's a professional now, trying to go for a world title in his ninth fight. He was 8-0 with 6 KOs, about to fight the South African Muruti Mutalini, with who was, I think he had like 2 losses, 1 loss, and he was a guy who would have almost 30 fights. That's a no-brainer, man. Everybody on the planet picked Wasim Muhammad to beat that guy. Check my prediction. I picked Muruti to win that fight, and he won the fight exactly how I thought he would. Experience comes into play, and I don't see Mikey losing to a guy like Lomachenko with 12 fights, a guy who lost to Salido. And a guy Mikey beat versus Salido, but that fight was also controversial nevertheless. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. I think it'll make for a damn good fight. I won't be surprised if Loma wins, but as of right now, you heard it first from B Marsh Boxing. I got the man Mikey Garcia beating Loma. Okay, let me see. Mike D says, nah, I got Garcia winning the fight against Spence. Nah, I don't. I have that fight. I got it for Errol Spence beating Mikey Garcia. There's weight classes for a reason. 12 going up 12 pounds to fight a guy in Errol Spence who walks around at like 170 plus when he ain't fighting. 6 million ways to die. Choose one. That's suicide, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, I think Loma probably beats Mikey, but Bob's drinking that bitter beer, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just got, I think Mikey going to win that fight. Mike D says, I got Loma beating Mikey, but I think I read that already. Xavier, he's in the chat. What's up, Xavier? He says, if they can do Floyd versus Manny, they can do Spence Crawford. Exactly, sure. They can do that. I mean, they did Felix Diaz and John Molina Jr. were both guys who were managed by Bob Arum. I'm sorry, Al Heyman, and fight on the Showtime side. But guess what? They came to HBO and they fought a top-ranked fighter in Terrence Crawford. So no question, they could make the fight. There's no excuses. They should fight next, matter of fact, Spence and Crawford. Mike D says, true, I got Crawford beating Spence and Garcia. Yeah, I got him beating all of them. Crawford versus Spence, I'm still kind of on the fence with that one. I still would like to see more of Terrence Crawford at 147. What Rep It says, I invented the internet. Bob Arum. He's quoting what something Bob Arum says. Bob Arum crazy if he believes that. Mr. Doc says, yeah, Easter was hanging in there for the first half of the fight. I had it the same as Farhood, the first 6 rounds, but he doesn't have the muscle memory to fight like that elite level for 12 tough rounds, exactly. And it showed in that 9th round, man. He almost got taken out of there, you know what I mean? You know, Mikey put the pressure on him, catching him with every single punch in the round. What Rapid says, Loma looking to beat up old folks. Will probably try calling out Julio Cesar Chavez. Yeah, that's probably what he want to do. But I most likely see him fighting Beltran because he's on the top ranked side, you know what I mean, over there on ESPN. That's an easy unification to make. Mike D says Easter should have smother, and fought from the inside. I think he tried to do that in round 9, and that spelled danger. That was bad. It come to a point where you're just not better than the guy you're facing. Easter, that was his issue in previous fights. Crouching, getting low, and fighting at guys' height level. Rather than fighting tall, he would give up his height. Well, this particular fight, he ain't do that at all. But when he tried to do that, that's when he got touched up. You know what I'm saying? He was better. You gotta fight from the outside, dogs. Fuck all that inside shit. Unless you gonna be like, who's a tall fighter who had a vicious inside game? It's rare to find these type of guys. I mean, there's some tall fighters who might fight on the inside in spurts, but generally that's not where they're comfortable at. You know what I mean? Rob, what's his name? The guy who's a paraplegic now. Paul Williams. He would give up his height too, but the difference between him, he's not just jab jab. He's a guy throwing power punches. His punch output, you know what I mean. The guy was a volume puncher, Paul Williams. You could. That's different. If you're gonna do that, good luck. Maybe you could succeed with the inside fight for a tall dude. But as far as what Robert Easter brought to the table, that was a good game plan, best game plan he could do. But he got to let that right hand go. He wasn't confident in landing it with accuracy and also getting countered because Mikey's great with his timing. What rep it says? Danny Garcia versus Spence. Well, I got Spence winning that. Mike D. Mr. Doc says to Mike D. I don't know, man. Inside is where Mikey was having his way. Easter's best rounds were when he stuck to the ring center, jabbed, and cracked to the body. I agree. Mike 104 said, Bob isn't drinking bitter beer. He's off that Reggie. Yeah, Bob Bam be smoking his herb, man. He said it. Smoke weed every day. You know what I mean? What rep it says? Chico, Corrales. Yeah, man. Corrales was that dude. Mike D. Duran versus Leonard upset. Duran versus Leonard kind of upset for Garcia versus Spence. I can't see it, man. I don't see that happening, man. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Diego Corrales. What rapper says Diego Corrales, big fighter for his weight back in the day. Yeah, man. It's amazing how the guy would make 130 or even 135 pounds. Mr. Doc says, LOL, tell me you didn't just compare Mikey to Duran. Mike D says, Mr. Doc, I thought he wasn't getting hit at will at range. Yeah, I did. Mike D says he did compare Mikey to Duran. Well, Mikey's a four-weight champion, I think, just like Duran, right? Duran 135, 147, 154, 160. Did he get a title at 168? He might have. He might have. I know he fought against Leonard, I think, in the third fight for a 168-pound title that Leonard had, but Leonard won. So I don't know if he's been a champion at 168. I can't recall. But anyways, before I seal the deal on this video, man, I was just gonna say I more agree with the man Robert Garcia. I think Robert Garcia knows that Mikey Garcia then can beat Lomachenko. And Lomachenko is on top rank. Bob Bam's not in the business of putting his star pupil, his star fighter in there with a dangerous fighter like Mikey Garcia. He will when it's time to cash out the man, what you call it, if he's trying to cash out Lomachenko, you know what I mean? Let me read some more quick joints before I leave up out of here. Mr. Doc says he got hit more than he should have, telling Mike D, but not nearly as much as he got hit inside. True indeed. Mike D says Garcia reminds me of Duran for real, for real. I don't know. I think Duran definitely hits harder, no question about it. I think Duran defense was better too, slipping punches in the pocket and counter punching. You know what I'm saying? And also him being a star, putting the pressure on the man, on his opponents. saying? Because, for the most part, at a point in time, everybody that Duran was facing was bigger than him, and how he would just stand in the pocket and evade punches. I think he got a better skill set in defense and knockout power than Mikey. Mr. Doc says, yeah, B March, I think 160 was the biggest title, yeah. When he beat Duran beat what's that guy's name? Iran Barkley. Mike D says, I don't know. Me, Doc, I'll have to look at that fight again. Finks GRR, what's happening? He says, sup, B March, been a minute. What's good, son? How you feeling, man? Mr. Doc says, LOL, Mikey Styler mentally nothing like Duran's. Yeah, man, Duran was just an animal, man. Duran was in fights where he was the underdog. I've yet to see Mikey in that position. He's never been the underdog. So up until that happens, everybody he beats, he's supposed to. Or he fights, he's fought so far. Mike D says, should have doubled on them hooks and then come with the step back right hand. Mike D says, yeah, you're right, B Marsh. I just see them subtle similarities. Yeah, man. Mr. Doc says, when Mikey beats up a champ at 154, I'll have him in the ballpark of Duran. Duran is a top 5 pound for pound. Hell yeah, Duran to me is one of the greatest fighters ever, you know what I mean? Guy who came from lightweight, or guy who started below lightweight, you know? But yo, B Marsh Boxing, I gotta step up out of here. What Rapid asked, B Marsh, how the NBA Eastern Conference looking with all the postseason moves? Well, fellas like Toronto, man, they got Kawhi Leonard. They re-up. They looking good with him. I think the best 3 teams in the East going to be in my division, the Atlantic division. My Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, and what they called? Toronto Raptors, you know what I mean? Those are best teams, so I expect the Celtics, though, to beat them all, you know what I mean, and go back to the finals. Mr. Doc says, Duran on most people's short list for best lightweight ever. Usually I hear Duran, Benny Leonard, Sweepy. Yeah, Carlos Ortiz, Joe Gans, Barney Ross. There's been a lot of great lightweights, you know what I mean? But I know for sure the top 2, in my opinion, is definitely Duran and Sugar Ray. I'm not Sugar Ray, excuse me, Sweepy, Pernell Whitaker. Mike D says he got Durant top 5 pound for pound ranking of all time. I ain't mad at that. But yo, B Marsh Boxing, I'm out of here. Thanks for everybody coming through. Mike D, Mr. Doc, Fix GRR, What Rapid, Xavier, everybody in this piece. Big ups, man. And yo, I just had to let it be known before I sign up out of here. Arum's the one who don't want no smoke with Mikey Garcia. B Marsh Boxing, I'm out of here. Thanks for everybody coming through, participating, and I'm going to catch you on the next vid. One.